Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. Yesterday, the Moscow Police Department put out a ton of documents, and one of the ones that I was most interested in finding was the interview with the DoorDash driver, and I found it. All right, it's on, I think it's 104 is the number. All right. So I found the document and I read through it, and it's amazing. The DoorDash driver did not see Bryan Kohberger. All right. It's really interesting, though. And it matches somewhat of what I was already saying. And it also shows that she did park behind the building for a bit, and then she parked in the front. So for all of those who thought that she parked in the back, that's great. That's not where she ran into Bryan Kohberger, or possibly the cars were next to each other. She only remembers seeing a tan color sedan that turns out it's maybe like a tan colored SUV, has a different looking person in it, and Kohberger's white Elantra she never even noticed. So it's really interesting. Let's go through this. And remember, that's her right there, the DoorDash driver. I don't need to play that again. We've heard it 100,000 times already. So right here it says, on November 23rd, 2022, at approximately 8:39 p.m., M, and that's the DoorDash driver, remember her name starts with an M, came to the Moscow Police Department, and it's MM, similar to Madison Mogen with the two M's, but it's not. She's the DoorDash driver. She came to the Moscow Police Department to be interviewed about her presence in the area of 1122 King Road during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. And M was identified as being in the area through records obtained from DoorDash via a search warrant, and was confirmed as being in the area based off of a Google geofence warrant, which was obtained as a result of this investigation. So she showed up in a geofence, like any vehicle or anybody using Google or anything, the GPS information in that area, and it showed that she was there. I was accompanied by the FBI Special Agent Alex Skelton during this interview. So this is an interview with the DoorDash driver. M, the DoorDash driver, told me she worked for 12 to 18 hours on the night of November 12th to the 13th and received 3 orders in the King Road, Queen Road area. 2 of the orders were at an address on Queen Road, but not the homicide house. And it was a complex which is immediately to the east of 1122 King Road. So I guess if we were looking at a map, it would be directly to the east. Perhaps they're talking about right over here, this 500 Queen Road. So this is 1122 King Road. This is 1112 King Road right there. And that's the camera on this building that picked up all of the surveillance footage of any vehicle or person walking around. And I believe that camera was on 24/7. It wasn't motion activated at all. All right. So it says the 2 of the orders were at the Queen Road apartment complex, which is immediately to the east of 1122 King Road. That's 500 Queen Road. M said the delivery at 1122 King Road was her final order for the evening. M said she could not find the 1122 King Road address, as the address number was hidden by the porch light, which caused her to remain in the area for approximately 15 minutes. So that means she was there at about 4:45, let's say. Okay? M also stated her Google Maps told her to go to the parking lot immediately behind 1122 King Road. So isn't that interesting? That means she drove back here and parked. That's where she was told to go. All right, that's where it said on Google Maps. M stated she initially parked in the front of 1122 King Road, so she parked in the normal spot in the front of the house, and could see a female in the top left window. So that would be the bathroom. So if we were to go, let's just move the slider around to, that's a little bit too far, maybe right there. If we go around a little bit more, that upper left-hand window there is the bathroom. So that's what she might be talking about. But maybe, if she was down here, she thought the upper left was this one. Who knows? But she saw a woman with longer sort of brown hair in the upper left window. So either it was the living room window or the bathroom window up there. She said she saw the same female a couple more times in the same window, and she would duck down when M looked at her. So when she was looking up there, the person would duck down. M then said she drove to the back parking lot behind 1122 King Road. So now she goes back behind where we always thought Kohberger likely parked his car, and parked. She stated she could see the back courtyard area behind the house and noticed all the lights were on. So what she's talking about is the courtyard right there with the patio right outside the sliding glass door. And we can see it a little bit better if we move down right there. So she could definitely see that from the parking area right up there. M stated her map told her to walk into the back of the house. So remember, the GPS coordinates seem to indicate that the DoorDash delivery was in the back of the house, but apparently it's not. So it says M stated her map told her to walk to the back of the house, but she did not feel comfortable going down, that hill there. So because there was no path, you're just kind of walking through the woods. M said she started to walk down the road, which runs north and south immediately to the east of the residence. And then M stated, a tan sedan drove next to her while she was walking. All right, so she's walking down like this, and a tan sedan drives by her. So this is likely, probably around 350, maybe something like that. We don't know because we don't have the surveillance footage. M said there was one male driver and noticed he did not look at me, she said. She said he looked completely zoned out and just drove by her. M later stated the driver was white with blonde or red spiky hair. M also noticed the dome light in the car was on when it went by, and later told me the male was wearing a light colored collared shirt. Well, we know Bryan Kohberger doesn't have red spiky hair. He also doesn't drive a tan vehicle. And when this vehicle is driving by, everybody's still alive in the house. So just keep that in mind, Kohbergers. I know you're going to want to shift attention to the guy driving the tan vehicle, completely ignoring the lime green Elantra that you guys have all been talking about for months and months. But maybe the lighting out there makes the tan car, which would have been lime green, look like it was white. You guys are nuts, man. M stated she walked back up to her car and drove back to the front of 1122 King Road. So now, just picture it like this. She's walking like this, then the tan car drives by, then she turns around and walks back this way to get into her vehicle that's parked back behind her, where Kohberger likely parked many times on the 23 times that he was in the area, probably parked back here looking through Madison Mogen's window. So again, M stated she walked back to her car and drove back to the front of 1122 King Road. So she parked in the front, drove to the back, didn't want to walk down, then drove back to the front. But it says at which point she saw the address numbers. So at that point she did see the numbers. M said she placed the order at the front door, took a picture, and then left at approximately 4 o'clock. And then down here it says, during the time M was in the area of King Road residence, the white Elantra can be seen via the King Road camera driving back and forth on Walanta Drive and then enter the King Road, Queen Road loop at approximately 3:56. At the point M pulled into the front parking lot before she dropped off the order off. Now this is exactly something that I suggested a while ago, that when Kohberger was driving around. So if you look right here, he's driving behind 500 Queen Road. He pulls in at 356.24, and then at 356.55, he's traveling behind 500 Queen Road, and this is the time that the DoorDash driver pulled into the front parking lot. And then at 357.27, the headlights can be seen briefly on 1127, and then at 358.23, it's heading westbound on Queen Road. So what that means is at 357.27, the vehicle's coming around like this, and right now the DoorDash driver is already parked here, and this is one of the exact scenarios that we mentioned. Then he drives like this, and then this camera right here picks him up leaving at 358.23. So he likely did park for 15, 20 seconds or so, or drive really, really slowly around, and then he's already out of the area by like 358.50, and then at 359.04 he's driving south on Willanta Drive. And so the DoorDash driver being there really changed things. It's really quite astounding. So remember at 3:45 when I said that the DoorDash driver got there. Well, look at this. The headlights are seen north on Willanta Drive, and then they're next seen south on Willanta Drive. It never entered the complex, and that's 2 minutes later. So that means Kohberger, as he was driving north here, could see that there was a vehicle parked in front of the house right down here. So he drove by, and instead of pulling onto King Road here, he actually continued on. This is something we've talked about. And then parked right here perhaps, because he didn't go by over here. He pulled into here somewhere and then turned around. But this spot right here is amazing, because I actually went there with my 360-degree camera, and from this parking spot you can see this entire house right here. So maybe he pulled into there and was continuing to watch, and then he pulls out and he drove away again. All right, so look at that. Let's go back to the timeline is what I'm trying to get back to. Then at 3:48, it's over at Ridge Road and Paradise Drive. It does a U-turn. And then at 3:50, headlights are seen north on Willanta Drive again. And then look at right here, at 3:52.42, headlights are seen southbound on Willanta Drive. So it's heading northbound on Willanta Drive and then southbound again. It did not go into the complex again because, again, the DoorDash driver is sitting in there. So the DoorDash driver is sort of an unwitting hero in a way. I mean, absolutely created different movements and is actually responsible for Kohberger driving by the Ridge Road camera at approximately, I think it's 4:01. There it is, 4:01 and 30 seconds, where his front license plate is shown missing, and it's on a 2015, or I think a 2014 to 2016 Honda Elantra, or Hyundai Elantra. So isn't that interesting how it didn't go back into the complex when it would normally go in on every loop? This time it did not do that. Headlights are seen south and then north again, and then it's just each time it drove by until 3:56. So this was an interesting one here. Look at headlights are seen north on Willanta Drive, and then it goes into the complex at 3:56.24, which is 3 minutes just about. So that means on that pass, the vehicle drove by like this, and guess what? Oh man, this makes total sense. That's probably the time that she pulled back here and parked. Okay, so he drove over here and he watched again and he saw there's nobody in front of the house this time. So now the coast is clear, he thought. So then he pulls out right here, drives around, goes onto King Road at 3:56, and that's at 3:56.24, and then he turns east onto Queen. So what he does is he pulls in here, and then he drives around like this. Now while he's driving around, she backs up and drives around like this and pulls into the front here while he's coming around back here. And then his headlights hit the top of 1127 as he's turning. she's in that front parking lot. And then at 3:58:23, he has already left behind the front of the parking lot because now he's passing 1112 King Road at 3:58:23. But I would say at 3:58:15, at the very earliest, he's right there. He's driving by right here, and she's parked right there. And then he drives by that camera, and then he drives this direction. Now, interestingly, that's when he drives down here and does a U-turn and comes back and does not go into the complex again. Because now, when he drove by, she's parked in the front of the house again. So he gets the hell out of there, and he drives around over here, and it's right in front of this house here where his vehicle is spotted missing a front license plate. I mean, it's just absolutely perfect timing, and it makes complete sense now. It's unbelievable. So it says, during the time M was in the area of the King Road residence, the white Elantra can be seen, I just explained all this, via the King Road camera, driving back and forth on the Willanta Drive, and then enter the King Road, Queen Road loop at approximately 3:56 hours. And it says, but at that point, M pulled into the front parking lot before she dropped the order off. The white Elantra pulled in behind M because a gray Subaru, and she has a gray Subaru Forester, so it drove in behind her and then exited the King Road at approximately 3:58 hours. M did not mention seeing the white Elantra behind her at any time, so she didn't see that. So she's parked in the parking lot, and he would have driven right behind her. So picture what they're saying here is she pulls in like this, headlights facing the house. Then he comes down this street like this and drives around, and at that point he's behind her as he goes like that. And then it says, I continued to question M about her time near the residence. She told me she walked down Queen Road at one point, so that's probably when she parked in front of the house the first time, and she was looking for the address with her flashlight out. M can be seen doing so on the footage. So that means on the 1122 King Road camera, you can actually see the DoorDash driver walking down the street with a flashlight. Isn't that incredible? M can be seen doing so on the footage from the King Road camera. M also continued to tell me the female she saw in the upstairs bedroom window would duck down when M looked at her. M described her as having long brown hair. M stated she could not identify the girl as one of the victims. Approximately 30 minutes into the interview, S.A. Skelton requested M take part in a cognitive interview. M agreed, and S.A. Skelton began the cognitive interview. During this interview, M confirmed much of the information she already told us. M was able to remember she had her dog with her during one of her walks in the area, but did not clarify much more in the ways of the details of the evening. We thanked M for her cooperation, offered any support she may need, and concluded our interview. Subsequent investigation of video footage and cellular data showed the tan sedan M saw was likely a light-colored SUV which left the area. Moreover, it does not appear M saw the white Elantra at any point during her time near the residence. So she didn't see the Elantra as it pulled in behind her. Probably her attention was getting ready to deliver her order at the house. Now, one thing that's interesting is right around I think it's 3:51 over here. Let's see, 3:51. Dylan Mortensen creates a new contact on her phone, and 3:51 headlights are seen southbound on Willanta Drive at 3:51. And I'm not sure. I think one of these cars is that. I bet you that's the sedan. The sedan, because there's two cars in a row that go southbound. This explains that. This is something that's always bugged me. And if you watch my channel, you'll know that twice headlights are seen going south in a row on Willanta. Now it's pretty clear that one of those times is likely that that tan sedan. All right. And so let's see. So that was Dylan Mortensen creates a new contact on her phone. And there's an individual that walks, interestingly, in the back parking lot of 500 Queen Road right around this exact same time. And so it makes you wonder if that's the guy that got into the tan vehicle and then drove by the DoorDash driver and then maybe went on Willanta Drive. So the timing of all that makes complete sense now. Yeah, so it turns out she never saw the Bryan Kohberger. The DoorDash driver did not see Bryan Kohberger, and she did see a tan vehicle, and I think that's right. I bet you anything that's right around 350, and that would match the time. So she parks in the front, maybe at 3:45, gets out of her car, walks a little bit, can't find it, goes back to her vehicle, and then drives back behind the 1122 King Road address up in the upper parking lot there. And as she starts walking back towards the house, a tan vehicle drives by her, and then she turns around and walks back the other direction to get back in her car. Then she drives to the front parking lot again, and that's when eventually she delivers the order right around 4 o'clock. Now, if you remember, we have it right in here. When she said she left right around 4, it matches the key fob sounds, 3:59:46, 3:59:48, 3:59:51. You hear 3 key fob beeps. She would get out of her vehicle, and she just delivered it in the front of the house. And then headlights are seen on Willanta Drive heading northbound. So that's the Elantra coming back. But again, she's still there. That's why he didn't come back into the complex. And then that's what proves that these key fob sounds are her. Okay, because he did not go back into the complex at 4 o'clock and 14 seconds because she's still there. She didn't leave right at 4. And then 4 o'clock and 27 seconds, the key fob goes off again, and then 4 o'clock and 28 seconds. And then I bet you they have her on surveillance footage, driving by the camera probably at like 4 o'clock and 45 seconds. And then Kohberger then drives around onto Ridge Road, and that's when he gets his front license plate spotted, as I explained earlier. But man, I just find this kind of stuff absolutely fascinating. This is what I live for, is trying to figure out these little puzzles, and I think this all brought together a lot of little elements. It tells you why he parked over here all those different times, because he was still dealing with the DoorDash driver that whole time from 3:45 all the way until basically 4 o'clock. And then he finally came back in when the coast was clear, and then it's go time. All right? So anyways, leave any comments in the comments section. Let me know what you think. I think this made complete sense now. And I even think that guy walking in the back parking lot is probably connected to the tan vehicle that drove by. And that person has absolutely nothing to do with the homicides. And we know that because nobody was dead at that time. All right, he just drove away, and Kohberger's DNA is on the knife sheath, and he's also confessed. Okay, so for you pro-burgers out there that are still looking for an angle, it's just not going to happen. All right, so thank you all very much for watching this video. I really appreciate you taking the time. I think this stuff is absolutely incredible. All right, so again, thanks for watching, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.